Hey, James T here. Welcome to my vlog. We're going to be talking to a friend of mine, Marcus, today. I got a lot of friends, I guess. Um, he's a performing artist here in Chattanooga. He's got a lot of things. He's got a lot of experience, a lot of entertainment going on many different avenues, and we'll talk about some of that. And we'll put up some of the links to like Barking Legs Theater, that kind of thing. And he and Hope's uh, venue or their show that they put on. I'll put that up on the end as well. So stay tuned. This is a good one. You're gonna like this one. Hopefully the light won't be too bad on it. Hey, welcome. We're here with Marcus. We've known each other for a while, and I know I've caught your show, a couple of acts here and there when you were performing with Hope and solitarily, at I think it was Main Times 24 Works, and I caught you in different places. Well, Marcus, tell me how you got into your performing art.
Well, I started off doing poetry and spoken word at open mics.
Okay.
There was a group called Manifest that used to meet at what used to be Mud Pie.
I remember that place.
Yeah, that's how far back it was,
Yeah.
which is no longer, God rest its soul.
I miss it.
Really got into that. Did some stuff with a group in town in Chattanooga called Rhyme and Chat,
Okay.
which is like a collective of poets and spoken word artists. They did a lot of really cool things, and I just kind of caught a bug for performance.
I get that.
For
I get that.
getting on stage, and then I also found that it was a great way to connect with people, to share my stories,
Yeah.
my experiences,
Yeah.
and find that there are other people who were looking for that voice.
Yeah.
From there, I met up with Hope.
Mhm.
Actually through paranormal investigation, I met up with Hope.
That's a completely different story.
Yeah, that's a whole other story there. But as we became friends, we she's also a performer and a writer, and at one point we got together, and she had a friend of hers had this idea for a horror themed comedy series, and that's where Dark Princess Theater was born, and a lot of Hope's ideas and actually the whole group's, the whole collective's ideas kind of fleshed out these weird, dark characters with this twisted Addams Family style sense of humor.
Love it.
And I just that got me more into performance, even more in a different way. And then also I've seen my art, my writing having a political component. Talking about my experiences being a black openly gay man in the South, and making that part of my narrative, but not always in a dark way. Being it can be funny, we can celebrate things also.
Yeah.
And it's just continued from there. And I had my stint at MTV News as a politics writer, and even a lot of that wound up being some dark humorous pieces and a lot of poetry.
Yeah.
Came into that work too. And so now I'm still doing my performances at Barking Legs Theater. First Friday of every month I have my show there, The Floor is Yours, where I invite performers of all kinds to come and share their work. I give them a theme every month, and it's uncensored and unvetted, so there's a mixture of professionals and complete amateurs. There's sometimes some content that isn't exactly family friendly, but that's what it's about. It's about that expression. It's about allowing people that space to have unfettered expression. And now also, I have a new project that I'm working on with a grant from the Highlander Research and Education Center. Is actually a cooking and politics podcast.
Cooking and politics.
Yes.
All right.
It's called Chocolate Therapy, the Chocolate Therapy Podcast, and we're talking to about Black politics, food, and culture in the South, because we feel like Black Southern experience doesn't often get to take center stage on anything. It's like when you talk about Southern culture, it gets very divisive.
Yes.
But we want to have a way for people to make it accessible by talking to community leaders from around the Southeast about, first and foremost, their favorite home-cooked meal. So we introduce them to these recipes, and then we open it up to talk about who they are as a person. And then we get into the work that they do, and then we can get into some current events and politics and their views on that. but it's primarily about sharing good food,
It's a great
experiences and
icebreaker.
stories. Yes, exactly, and it makes it. We want to make these subjects and these people and their work more accessible to others, and we think everybody wants good food. Everybody appreciates it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate
Same.
good food. How many of those have you done? Have you getting
Actually,
started?
we're working on our first episode. We haven't launched it. We'll be launching our first episode on June 19th.
June 19th. All right. 2018, June 19th. What's the name of it?
Chocolate Therapy Podcast.
Chocolate Therapy Podcast. And I'll put the link down below you down there and at the end of this video. So I'll get that information from you. You'll see we've got the thing with Hope. Was it the
Dark Princess Theater.
Dark Princess Theater. You've got Chocolate Therapy. What was the other one? The Barking Legs.
The floor is yours at
The
Barking
floor
Legs.
is yours at Barking Legs. Okay, and I've been there 2 or 3 times. It's been years since I've been there. I haven't actually been there since they redid it.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I
You should
have
come in.
not.
It's gorgeous in there.
Is it really nice?
Yes.
Okay. I might. Because my friend Jelana and Carmen, they do shows and that kind of stuff there.
Yeah.
But it has been a long time since I've been there, so.
Come visit.
All right, I will. All right, so what kind of stuff do you have coming up?
Coming up on the podcast. That's been a big part of what's going on. Also, it's Pride Month, so I'm also involved in the LGBTQ community here. We have a bunch of events coming up. There's a Pride Month book reading event over at Starline Books downtown. I'll be part of that. What else? There is a Black Arts Festival coming up at the Chattanooga Theater Center. I'll be performing there.
Is that off of?
This is downtown in Coolidge Park.
Oh, okay, that's like it's over there.
Yeah, over by the big theater center.
There's a rhino or something.
Yes.
Yeah, by the rhino.
Right up there. Oh goodness, what else? This is a busy month.
Your podcast coming up, you said it has to do with politics. Are you actually going to have some politicians as guests?
We're considering that. We're looking at it. We wanted to start off with more of a grassroots approach. Like our first guest is going to be Josiah Golson, who is an artist here in Chattanooga. But he also has this group called the 800 Collective that he's part of, that he leads, using visual art to get communities into conversation. Like he had a project recently with a bunch of like high school and middle school kids where he had them re-envision the courtroom. Like, what does a courtroom look like? We want to rebuild the justice system from the ground up, and had them like physically create like juror boxes and think about like what the system would look like if it were to be reimagined to to uphold the things that these kids value as far as like comes to justice and civic engagement, and getting them talking about what that system.
What was his name?
Josiah Golson.
That sounds familiar.
He gets around a good bit. We chose him as our first guest because he is primarily a visual artist, but in the past couple of years he's begun this journey of exploring issues of social justice with his work. And I think that's a good intro for the podcast too, because I feel like a lot of our listeners that we want to draw in are also kind of new or haven't really put much thought or effort into these topics.
Right.
And he's really good about asking questions. And because of the political side, we want to start with like that grassroots. We want to start with the people who are out there on the ground, who are like the laymen, who have their questions, who have their concerns, and who are putting in the work to learn more and to do work for their communities. As we go on, we might start inviting politicians also to have those discussions and looking at a wider focus. But we really want to look at the people on the ground who are most affected by policies, by practices, by shortcomings of the systems, and who are doing something about it, who are engaged in those systems also.
I can see that. That sounds like a great idea. One of the people that came to mind to have on this show was Warren Mackey. I've known Warren for years, and out of Chat State, we worked together for a long time, and he has a unique perspective on how Chattanooga politics are running. And hear that, Warren? You're on my list, pal. So
Should get him on.
yeah, I've already tried to get some messages to him and that kind of stuff. He's a busy man right now.
And he's got a campaign going right now too.
Yeah, he does. It's election season. It's a busy time. But anything on the horizon that you really want to do?
I really want to do?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, there is another project. In the work I was doing with MTV, I got to do a little bit of podcasting, and also, prior we had the Dark Princess Theater podcast, which I'll go ahead and say we're working on some new things for that. We're visiting the audio dramas in the Dark Princess Theater universe.
I'm gonna have Hope on
okay.
before too long. She's gonna be in that seat as well.
Okay, well, it'd probably be better for her to go more into that. But we are working on some things. I don't want to give away too much.
Okay.
But we're working on some new content for Dark Princess Theater. And then I have another project that I hope to have cast and recorded and released later in the year. I don't want to go into it too much because it's still in the very early stages.
Okay.
It will be audio drama. It will be it'll be a little darker than Dark Princess Theater.
Wow. Wow. Those of you who have sat in on one of these shows, it's not exactly light comedy.
Yeah.
It's kind of dark. There's some death and some mayhem involved.
Quite a bit of violence in Dark Princess Theater, and that's what we play for laughs.
Yeah. And you're saying it's gonna be darker.
It's gonna be
right.
Well, because Dark Princess is still kind of slapsticky. And,
it is,
and
really,
over the top.
It really
like
is.
It's. This is going to be not nearly as funny. Not nearly as funny.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. I mean, especially, is it going to be politically oriented in any way, or is there?
At times, think of it. This one, I'm thinking more of along the lines of like Twilight Zone, where there is
very political.
Yeah, where there's that social commentary. Rod Serling is like one of my idols because he was fearless, a fearless advocate for so many things, and through hosting a horror sci-fi show. And I don't think people realize how much he actually did fight for like freedom of speech and for justice and equality. Like he really was a great man. Huge fan of his. And so this is more inspired by like the legacy of him and people like him who use science fiction, horror, just even this absurd surrealism to make a commentary about human nature and society, in ways that are unexpected, and like I said, not always funny. Like usually not funny. Like there's some really it's also definitely an adult show. Yeah, well, it's up for the family.
If it makes you think, and it clicks, and I call them light bulb moments. When you're watching something, you're listening to something's going on, but in those cartoons, the light bulb goes off because you get an idea. But something clicks and suddenly, bing, that light bulb goes off, and it's like, oh yeah, I get that now. Yeah, you connected the dots, and it's like, okay, I get that. That's why this happens, or that happens, or this is what I can do, that kind of thing. So
our hope is to keep people up at night for multiple reasons. We want to scare the living daylights out of them, and we also want to make them think about some things.
That's cool.
That's the goal. But that'll be like later in the year. I'll go ahead. It's look for it's called Ivory, lowercase I, capital VORY.
Ivory. Okay. All right, I'll put that in the links as well.
I'll make sure to pass it along to you.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we look forward to having you again. Maybe we'll get you and Hope on the same time.
Oh, that would be fun.
And boy.
You won't get a word in edgewise.
I better get extra memory for that one. Maybe put a computer onto the side maybe or something. But one day when this page goes monetized, I'll maybe a few clips of your show or something.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Throw that on there. So one real quick, Dark Princess Theater. We've caught you at the conventions. A variety, like Chattanooga, do that kind of stuff. Where else do you perform that?
Well, every year we do our Gwendolyn's Bleeding Hearts Ball in February, usually on or around Valentine's Day. We try to keep it pretty close.
Valentine's Day.
Well, this is why our events aren't exactly your typical romantic evening out. Someone will die every time. It's one of our rules.
That's cool.
Like, we have to kill somebody before the night's over.
Yeah.
And those are really fun. We're planning our next one. Last year we had it, or this year rather, we had it at out on the river at the on the boat.
Oh,
Yeah, so that was actually
on the riverboat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's awesome.
Up in the ballroom that they have. That was fun. It was a Wild West themed. It was Gold Digger's Revenge was the theme. And pretty soon we'll be officially announcing the next year's theme and location. And that's what we try to do every year. Is we lately, the past few years, we brought it to different places so that we can really dig into these crazy themes. Because characters, they're immortal. They're undead. So we can put them in different time periods. And we've done a medieval themed one. We did the Wild West was this most recent one. We have fun with it, and we encourage people to come and cosplay. We have great costumers and cosplayers in this community. Who always show up, and there's a big contest for best costume. We come up with weird competitions, like we had a Nerf gun shootout at this last one.
Oh, that's awesome.
With targets that we made. And
that is awesome.
It was a quick draw competition.
Yeah.
We had horse races. It gets weird and it gets kind of fun and crazy. So I always look for Gwendolyn's Bleeding Hearts Ball in February. And in the coming year, we're planning on doing some more events, like live shows and stuff, on top of returning to our audio dramas.
Awesome. I look forward to future podcasts. Remember, you just put that out there not too long ago, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, it's been a couple of years since we put our last audio podcast.
Has it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, it seemed like on your last show you were discussing it.
Yes.
We were talking about it.
We're still in the works of it. And
back in February, I think.
Yeah, right around the ball. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Hope may have put out a teaser then.
Yes, I think so.
I'm bad about keeping up with those things.
She was actually on stage and she just kind of teased it a little bit.
Okay.
So, okay.
But yeah, they'll be back soon.
Okay, awesome. Marcus, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If you liked the content, if you liked what you heard, hit that subscribe button. Marcus will be back. Hey guys. Thanks.
Thank you.